Hi everyone, and welcome to my 2010 25 Days of Christmas album. I had started this back in 2010, but I just never finished it. So I wanted to get back to it and get it finished up before I start thinking about Christmas this year. So I just wanted to go through the pages fairly quickly and share a few things with you, and I'll post some detailed pictures on my blog. So the cover is just, it's an American Crafts book. It's a smaller version of the 12 by 12s that I use. And I just glued an ornament here from 2010 into the cover. I may back it with another piece of paper in here, but for now that's what I have. And then inside the pages are 8.5 by 8.5. They're just square, and then I print out some on my printer. So I do both. I'm a hybrid scrapper, so I do both digital and paper scrapping. So for my intro here, well, I think I'll probably glue some kind of a pattern paper on here to cover this up and make it look a little bit fancier than the white. But for now, this is what I have. For my intro page, I've just glued some foil thickers on here for the 25 days, and just some 3D little gem lights on here. And then for day one, I did some hybrid scrapping here. This is journaling is all done in Photoshop, and this block of pictures is done in Photoshop with the paper that looks like water in the background, and then it's all printed out. Then I cut it out and I glue it onto some background paper. I think this is from Webster's Pages, the sea looking background. And I've just got some 3D embellishments here. And this is just a copper penny that was pressed through one of those machines at the aquarium. This is at the aquarium in Long Beach. And continuing on to the first day, after we were at the aquarium, we went out to eat, and then we did some shopping for Christmas. And then day two, I'm just showing what we had picked up for the kids at Kohl's while we were there the day before. And this is a picture of my mom. She's peeking through the window at Michael's, and this is the Grinch that they have in their window. And this here is kind of fun. It's a big vinyl cling that you put on a window, and I scanned it and put it into my computer and then printed it onto some background paper, and I added some fuzz on there, which you glue on. The only thing is I did do this a couple years ago when I was doing the 2010 album, and the glue seems to have turned sort of yellowish underneath. So I think I'm going to try to put another layer on there. I don't like how that's what's happened there, but anyway, we've got some 3D embellishment here with some presents. And I just have this little tag that says Grinch Alert. That comes from the Seven Gypsies, all their sticker sheets that they have. And day three, just doing some baking Christmas cookies. Here I've got some October afternoon chipboard. This is a 1950s looking lady, housewife. And I thought it was just perfect for this, and I added a few pearls for a pearl necklace, and you don't know if you can see a little pearl earring there. And some other 3D chipboard. There's a gingerbread man. And there's my mom with the Santa apron posing in front of my tree. Day four, we went to Rogers Gardens and did some shopping at Fashion Island. This is a picture we took with Santa. And this is, I'm sure everyone's familiar with the Believe meter that they have at Macy's. And here, because we did so much during the day, I did a little collage. And then this is just a Hallmark sticker. It's a really 3D, if you can see it there on the end. If I turn the page up, it really pops out this snowman. It's meant for when you're wrapping packages to put on, but I like putting these kind of really 3D type elements into my 25 Days of Christmas album. And I don't like to put my pages into page protectors because I like to be able to touch everything. Like even this, the sleigh over here is really cute. It's a Jolie sticker that's all glittered. Then on this day, we were doing some shopping at Target. And this is my mom just wrapping, and she built a little tent for Spencer, my cat, and so he was in there. This I cut out with the silhouette and just the target here, and did the journaling. And then over here, just some more shopping. Then we're on day 7, and this is just a 2-page spread that I did for that. We went to Balboa Island and then Fashion Island, and we took a ton of pictures. And this is one of the layouts that I recently did because I came back to it these several years later because I had so many pictures that I wasn't quite sure how I was going to show off this one day. And I just settled on these 8 pictures because it shows all of us here walking around, how everything's decorated for the holidays, and one of our favorite places to get the Balboa bar. And then that's my mom in the candy shop. Then over in Fashion Island, that's just a picture of the sunset. And then we went to P.F. Chang's, and then we did some shopping, and then that's Forever 21. So I think that sort of encapsulates what we did that day. And actually, my mother was in visiting because my sister was pregnant, and she got called. I think she went into labor, or at least it was a false labor at this point. And my mom, we drove her up at the end of this day. My sister's about an hour and a half away or so. So Tony drove her up, and then my niece was born on the 10th. But back to day 8. This is just a reality check here. It always seems my cats get sick around Christmas time, but this is Quinn, the older cat, and he just hadn't been eating, and it had been about 5 days he was barely eating. So I took him to vet specialist. They didn't know what was wrong with him, so I said, just let's get his teeth cleaned. And it's so funny because then the next day I just have this little, on the 9th, I say feeling fine. And he was doing much better just from getting his teeth cleaned. He started eating again. So that's what happened those 2 days. And then just on this day, on the 10th, I have just a picture of how I decorate for Christmas. This is just one of my tables. I just had fun with it, making a little house, and there's some foam thickers there. And so that just sort of just a little fun type of layout for that day. And then on the 11th, we went to see Michael Bublé in concert. So these are a few of the pictures that I took. And then I just used some thickers, some silver and gold foil thickers. This is one of my favorite fonts in the thickers. And then day 12, we went to see Harry Potter and then go look at some open houses. And so that's just what that day is about. Then the next day, on the 13th, I did a little layout with, while I was writing my Christmas cards. This is actually my Christmas card. You can see it there in the center. This part here, I cut that out of the Christmas card and then made it more like a frame. But I always like to put my Christmas cards, I save 1 or 2 cards back from my packs of cards that I send out to put them in my 25 Days of Christmas book. So again, I used that same thicker that I really like, that chipboard, and I sewed through it with some silver thread. Of course, my title is Let It Snow Somewhere Else because we live in California, and although I like the idea of snow, I don't really like living with it, and because I did most of my life in Canada. And then on to day 14. This is just a random little picture with Spencer. He's sitting in a little box under the tree, and I stuck a bow on his head, and he just sits there with the bow on his head, so I took a picture. And just because there wasn't much to record for that day, so I just had more fun with the embellishments and the papers and that sort of thing. I used a straw here, and I stuck some pins in the end, and I made it like it was holding some banners. And I always like to get my wrapping paper into my 25 Days of Christmas. So this background is a shot of some presents that I've wrapped up. This day I was wrapping presents. And then this is actually cut out from the wrapping paper. You can see the snowman in the wrapping paper here. And I just cut it out and glued it on. And here is just a picture of me wrapping up one of those stuffed animals you saw from earlier. And that's just Quinn watching me wrap. And then here on the 16th, it's just another picture. I went back to do some more Christmas cookies, and I tried my hand at decorating some of them. So this is some of them sort of decorated here, Santa and the candy canes and such. I'm not really one to make too many cookies or anything like that at Christmas, but this year with my mom here, she wanted to make some for the kids and everything, so that's why we did, and it was kind of fun. So that's my decoration for that day. And then this is just another sort of layout here about how I got a scrapbook order in the mail. And I'm just saying, smile, it's happy mail, and the cats get all involved in here in all the wrapping and everything. So then we go on. Again, we got another delivery. This is from Tony's sister and family, and they had sent us boxes from Harry and David, so took a picture of how pretty it was that it came wrapped like that. And then I just did some little snippets in here, some circle close-up pictures of the different candies that were in there, and the cookies and the Crunch Munch, the Moose Munch, and the pears and that sort of thing. So this whole page here is printed from Photoshop, and then I glue it onto a paper background for the edge, and then I added some little rhinestones around the circle there, in there if you can see. And so even though I do things a lot on my computer, I always like to add some 3D embellishments to it after. And then here, this is just a picture. It was a rainy day, and this is just up in my scrapbook room. And so there's a story behind this, and I just did a little card in here explaining it, what happened that day and everything. And so I've tucked it in behind here so you can pull out and read the journaling, because it's a little bit personal, so I don't want it right out there on the page, but you can read what happened. And then this is the next day, the 20th. This is just a picture of my mom's cousin Sharon, who lives in Florida. She makes these ceramic pins, and this one matches my mom's outfit perfectly, so I did a little heart around it to show where the pin was, and cut this out on my Cameo. And this is just the wrapping beforehand that I took a picture of, and just have that Love Sharon. And then the background paper is just some glitter copper paper. And then over here, kind of different for me, this sort of rustic look, but we'd also gotten a present from someone with all of these fruit in a fruit basket, and I thought this really kind of went with the cabin, sort of had a cabin feel to it, so I used this pretty background paper with the birch logs, and that's just sort of a picture of it after I got it all out of the basket. And then here, this is kind of a silly thing, but that's what I like to do with the 25 Days of Christmas, is really have fun with stuff. That's just a picture that I think Tony snapped of me while I was either Tony or my mom, while I was cooking. And I have my Santa apron on. So I used these 3D stickers and put a little hat and a little mitt. It kind of looks like an oven mitt on myself. So anyway, that was just a fun little thing. And then here, the 23rd, this was again playing a lot with the embellishments. You can see the glitter that I used in the snow here and everything. And what this is K & Company. If you're familiar with buying their chipboard from the store, they put them in really fun packaging. And this is the outside cover of one of their boxes of chipboard for Christmas. And I made it, just put this little label on here that said Home Sweet Home, and you looking through almost like it's a window. looking into them eating. So that again was just to have some fun with embellishments, because I love playing with the Christmas embellishments. Then on the 24th, this is a picture. That's my mom. She's walking. We're out shopping. And so that's just what this is about here. And then there's another, this is later in the evening. This is for Christmas Eve. This is a gift she brought for us. It's a little ornament. And there's my Spencer waiting for Santa under the tree. And there's the tree. And onto the tree here I added, I don't know if you can see it, but some pearl embellishments and some gems and that sort of thing, give it that 3D look. And that's another real big 3D sticker from Paper House Productions. They do the most beautiful stickers, and I love getting them into books like this because they're not so great to put behind the page protectors because they bulk them up a lot, but in these books it's fine to use. And here we go. Here's Christmas Day. This is all done digitally except for the strip of glitter paper along the bottom. And I printed 2 of these and I just popped it up on Pop Dots. So there we go, Christmas Day. And then finally I just do a last page here. I believe this paper is by Fancy Pants. I just thought it was really pretty. It's the kind of paper that you really can't use to put a picture over or anything. It just looks good on its own. So I added a few thickers here and the date. And that wraps it up for 2010. Thanks for taking a peek.